Amsterdam, 6th of August 1945. Dear Family Singleton. The mother sat at the table trying to write a letter. She was writing to a family in Manchester, England. She gazed out at the busy Amsterdam street, trying to find a way to start, trying to find a way to express her feelings. I am very sorry to hear about the loss of your brother who died for his country. I hope the Lord can give you the strength to bear all this trouble. Looking after my children, as well as your own, at this time must be very difficult. She'd sent her own children away, you see. Sent them away to be raised by strangers. Imagine being a parent and sending your own child away, not knowing if you'd ever see them again. Imagine being a child, being sent away by your parents, not knowing if you'd ever see them again. Why had she sent them away? Well, to hear that story, we need to go back further in time, back to when the war started. The mother and her 2 children lived in Berlin, and they were very happy until the day the war started. And suddenly there were soldiers everywhere. And these soldiers didn't like the mother. They didn't like her 2 children. And she was scared, especially now as she was on her own. Her husband had left to fight and not returned. She was worried that the soldiers would take her children away and she would never see them again. But what could she do to protect them? And one day she heard of something amazing. A family here in England would look after her children until the war ended. A foster family. They would be safe here until the war ended. That evening, she called her girl and boy into the kitchen, and she told them what was going to happen. Well, of course, the children were shocked. Well, what about our friends? They asked. You'll make new friends. What about school? You'll go to school in England. But we can't speak English. Well, you'll learn English really quickly. But we don't want to leave you. It's the only way. Now I want you to go upstairs. There's a bag on your bed, and I want you to pack. Tomorrow morning I'm going to take you to the train station. The next morning at the station, it was very busy. They weren't the only family there. There were hundreds of people, mums, dads, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, grandparents, all there to put their children on the train, there to say goodbye. The soldiers were there too, looking stern. They couldn't stop the children getting on the train. They weren't happy about it. The guard blew his whistle. The train was about to leave. "On board! On board!" he shouted. Mother gave her children a small amount of money and some food for the journey, sandwiches and a piece of cake each. There wasn't much room left in their suitcases, so the boy put the sandwiches in his suitcase and the little girl put the 2 pieces of cake in her suitcase. They both looked worriedly up at their mother. "Don't worry," she said. "You're just going on an exciting adventure." "Will we see you soon?" they asked. "Of course you will," she said. "I'll be following on really soon." And she gave them a great big hug. And they both climbed onto the train carriage. Inside, it was jam-packed with children, many of them trying to find a seat or waving out of the window at their families, but all of them in the same situation, all of them heading to England for the duration of the war, to start a new life with a new family. The boy and girl tried to find a seat together, but just then a soldier appeared right in front of them. "How old are you?" he said, pointing at the boy. "I'm 8, replied the boy. "This your sister?" "Yes." "How old are you?" asked the soldier. "I'm 6, said the girl. And he grabbed her hand and he started to pull her away down the carriage. "Where are you taking my sister?" yelled the boy. "6-year-olds have to sit in another carriage," said the soldier as the door closed behind him. And with a final whistle, the train pulled away from the station. It was a long and dreary journey. The kids both sat in their seats, staring out of the window at the landscape rushing by. After several hours, they got hungry, and so they opened their suitcases, and of course they realised the food had been separated. The boy just had the sandwiches, and the girl just had the cakes. "Oh well," thought the boy, and he ate the sandwiches, every last one. The girl ate both the cakes. Eventually their heads slumped in their seats and they fell asleep. They were woken when the train came to a screeching halt. Had they reached the port, they wondered? No. They were at the border, and the soldiers were taking all the children off the train and making them line up in long queues. It was only when they got near the front they realised the soldiers were searching through their suitcases and confiscating anything of value: watches, jewellery, picture frames, books. And when they'd confiscated anything of value, they gave the suitcases back to the children, ordered them back on the train, and the train set off once more. And they were allowed to cross the border. It was night time when they reached the port. And what was nice was that this time they weren't greeted by stern-looking soldiers, but by smiling ladies handing out chocolate. It was very welcome. Their tummies were rumbling. The boy and the girl found each other again, and they told each other all about their adventure. "I'm sorry I ate the sandwiches," said the boy. "I'm sorry I ate both pieces of cake," said the little girl. The boat horn sounded. It was time to get on board. And together, hand in hand, they walked up the ramp. They knew in the morning they would see the coastline of England. What they didn't know was when they'd see their mother again. 6 years later, in her house in Amsterdam, Mother finished writing her letter. I remember standing on the platform, waving and waving. I waved so hard I felt my hand might drop off. I'm very proud to hear that my son has become a handsome boy, and that my lovely daughter is so very good and clever. It's been so long since that day I saw them leave on the train. I doubt that they will recognise their own mother anymore.